number of coronavirus cases in Los Angeles County comes to 1,085,044. The confirmed number of deaths reaches 15,592. Here in Torrance, the total number of confirmed cases is 5,883, with total confirmed deaths at 134. Welcome to COVID-19 Today. I'm Rhiannon Trutanich. It's 4 p.m. on Tuesday, January 26th. LA County is now back in the purple or most restrictive tier in California's four-tier system after Governor Gavin Newsom lifted all regional stay-at-home orders this week. The state's Health and Human Services Secretary, Dr. Mark Ghaly, says that means you can go out for a meal outdoors. It also means you can get a haircut again or visit a nail salon with some modifications. Dr. Ghaly gave an afternoon update saying the state has seen 17,028 new cases over the past 24-hour period, about 5,000 less than the 7-day average. He also noted that hospitalizations, including the ICU, are decreasing when looking at data from the past 14 days. Dr. Ghaly says we're exiting the regional stay-at-home order based on ICU projections. The projected ICU capacity on February 21st for the Southern California region is 33.3%. Here are some details on what we can do while in the purple tier. Private gatherings are allowed again, outdoors only, with up to 3 households or a total of 15 people. Aquariums, batting cages, card rooms, go-karts, mini golf, museums, and zoos can operate outdoors at 50% occupancy. Hotels and motels are allowed again for tourism as well, and gyms can open for outdoor operations only. Personal care services can open indoors at 25% capacity, along with shopping centers, although food courts and common areas still need to be closed. And starting this Friday, breweries, restaurants, and wineries can reopen for outdoor dining. As the stay-at-home ban gets lifted, public health officials remind all residents that safety protocols must remain in place. They also urge Angelenos to stay home as much as possible. 291 new deaths and 5,927 new cases of COVID-19 were reported in LA County over the most recent 24-hour period. California Governor Gavin Newsom unveiled new plans this week for the state's COVID-19 vaccine distribution. He says age will become the primary factor for vaccine eligibility after seniors and essential workers such as first responders, food workers, and teachers get their shots. Newsom says age-based eligibility will allow us to scale up more quickly and get vaccines to impacted communities more efficiently with equity in mind. We don't have a breakdown yet of the specific age groups that will be prioritized in future tiers. Newsom says those 65 and older make up 75% of COVID-19 deaths in California, so it's important to get those individuals vaccinated. So far, many eligible Californians have had a difficult time signing up for vaccine appointments. Yesterday, we shared that a pilot website called My Turn has been set up to let people know when it's their turn to get vaccinated. The site also allows Angelenos to make appointments to get their shots. Starting today, international travelers coming into the U.S. will have to show proof that they don't have COVID-19. All passengers ages 2 and older are now required to present a negative coronavirus test from no more than 3 days before their flight. If they had the virus, they must show proof that they recovered within the past 3 months. Those who don't provide these documents will not be able to board. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention hopes this new testing requirement can help slow the spread of the virus. Canada, the United Kingdom, and many other countries already have this entry requirement in place. Here at LAX, arriving passengers must fill out a travel advisory form and quarantine for at least 10 days. Those who don't comply could face a fine of up to $500. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention predicts that the COVID-19 variant first detected in the United Kingdom could become the dominant strain of the disease as early as March. And White House Health Advisor Dr. Anthony Fauci adds that this strain could be more deadly. Fauci made the announcement on Monday, which gives the variant a new assessment. On Friday, the UK government's Science Advisory Group concluded that there is a possibility that the new variant is associated with an increased risk of death compared to other strains of the coronavirus. Fauci says this conclusion is concerning, and although the data is preliminary, it's something they need to keep an eye on and take seriously. He adds that currently the U.S. is more concerned about another strain from South Africa, which is showing resistance to antibodies as a form of treatment, making current vaccines not as effective. Vaccine maker Moderna says it's working on a COVID booster shot to guard against the variant from South Africa. While the currently available vaccine provides some protection, Moderna's researchers say it could be better. Data so far shows that the Moderna vaccine generated a weaker immune response against the South African strain when compared to the one first discovered in the United Kingdom. Still, the antibodies remained above levels that are expected to be protective against the virus. Moderna's CEO says, quote, out of an abundance of caution and leveraging the flexibility of our mRNA platform, we are advancing an emerging variant booster candidate against the variant first identified in the Republic of South Africa into the clinic to determine if it will be more effective to boost the titers against this and potential future variants. He adds that Moderna's vaccine will protect people from the South African strain in the short term, but he's unsure how long that will last. He says we cannot be behind and fall behind this virus, which is why they're working on finding a more effective solution. California's unemployment claims continue to face unprecedented issues. Last year, the state paid out $11 billion in fraudulent jobless claims. Now investigators are looking into more potential fraud, adding up to another $20 billion. Here's how this happened. Between March of last year and January 16th of this year, the California Employment Development Department, or EDD, processed 19.5 million claims. It also paid out $114 billion in unemployment benefits, but 9.7% of them were not legitimate claims. The agency says another 17% of payments made during this time could also have been unlawful. The coronavirus pandemic led to a record amount of unemployment benefit claims in California last year. The state processed more than 5 times the number of claims in 2020 than it did in 2010, which happened to be the worst full year of the Great Recession. EDD officials say they processed as many claims as all of 2010 during the first 8 weeks of the pandemic shutdown. They add that now they're teaming up with some of the country's most successful fraud prevention businesses and law enforcement agencies to protect the state's unemployment benefit system. 1 year ago today, the world mourned the loss of basketball legend Kobe Bryant. The Lakers superstar's life was tragically cut short when he was killed along with 8 others in a helicopter crash in Calabasas. The National Transportation Safety Board is still investigating this incident and expects to release its final report on February 9th. Bryant's 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, also perished in that accident. The group was heading to a basketball tournament at the Mamba Sports Academy in Newbury Park. In the days, weeks, and months following the tragedy, tributes popped up around the world, with memorials and murals seen in countless countries, even a few seen here in Torrance. The global icon inspired so many people, and his former teammate LeBron James says, quote, "We do whatever we can to live his legacy on. There's a lot of things that die in this world, but legends never die, and he's exactly that." Since Bryant's passing, the Lakers have continued to remember him by breaking each huddle at the Staples Center with the words, "Mamba on 3." The team does not have plans for any tributes surrounding the anniversary of Bryant's death, however, out of respect for his family and those in the organization. Bryant was just 41 years old. Freezing weather continues to surprise Southern Californians this week. Treacherous, icy, and snowy conditions closed the Grapevine this morning for several hours. And Caltrans tweeted an update this morning from the northbound 15, warning those traveling toward Las Vegas of difficult travel conditions and delays. And golfers in Los Angeles were greeted with frozen golf mats. Torrance Citi CABLE's Christine Lee captured footage from her early morning practice where temperatures dropped to the 30s. She says they had to be extra careful not to slip on the frosty mats. Expect more cold weather, even rain this week. Weather.com sees a potential for heavy rain on Thursday night and into Friday morning. Small business owners can get some free help tomorrow. The Hawthorne Business Expo takes place online from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. The virtual town hall offers advice, information, and opportunities that help businesses to survive this pandemic. It includes 2 panels, one that covers community and government resources that are available to businesses during COVID-19. Another panel features business executives and owners who share stories about how they were able to pivot and reinvent their businesses during these difficult times. You can learn more about this event and sign up to attend at hawthornebusinessexpo.com. The business community can also head to the Torrance Chamber's website for more resources, from upcoming online events to networking virtually. Go to torrancechamber.com. The Super Bowl will have a very big absence this year. For the first time in 37 years, Budweiser won't be running an in-game Super Bowl ad. Instead, the beer brand announced it will use the marketing dollars to focus on promoting COVID-19 vaccine awareness and distribution efforts. As of Friday, about 39 million vaccine doses were sent out across the U.S. and 19.1 million were administered. That's a lot less than what the federal government had expected to see by this time of the year. So to help, Budweiser plans to run digital ads leading up to the Super Bowl, telling stories about resilient Americans during this pandemic, including healthcare workers who got vaccinated. The company also plans to donate a percentage of its advertising airtime to the Ad Council and COVID Collaborative's Vaccine Education Initiative and provide additional campaigns throughout the year. Coca-Cola and Pepsi also won't be advertising during the biggest football game of the year. Coke says it has chosen to focus on, quote, investing in the right resources, and Pepsi is focusing on its sponsorship of the halftime show, which stars The Weeknd. A 30-second Super Bowl commercial is estimated to cost about $5.5 million. Godiva Chocolatier is closing all of its stores in North America. It announced that the 128 brick-and-mortar locations will be closed or sold by the end of March. One location is right here in Torrance, inside the Del Amo Fashion Center. The news comes less than 2 years after the company shared that it was planning a massive expansion by getting into the cafe business. At the time, it was starting to roll out its plans to open hundreds of Godiva cafes across the U.S. and a couple thousand around the world. That plan never fully took off, however, and business started to decline even before the pandemic. It's not clear at this time how many jobs will be eliminated as a result of the closures. Stores in China, Europe, and the Middle East will remain open. The Torrance City Council meets tonight to conduct city business. The public portion of the meeting will start promptly at 7 p.m. Among the agenda items to be discussed is a resolution honoring Michael Ritchie of the Community Development Department. He's retiring from the city after 37 years of service. City Manager Aram Shaparian will provide a COVID-19 recovery update and determine direction on orders from the county and the state. And attendees can learn about the latest developments regarding the Torrance Transit Park and Ride Regional Terminal. Many more items will be covered in tonight's meeting. You can watch it right here on Torrance Citi Cable as well as online. Well, before we go, at the end of each program, we like to share stories from our community, feel-good pictures, images, and videos that remind us of how resilient our community is and how Torrance truly cares. The Salvation Army Torrance shared a heartfelt thank you to its community. Its captain, Jessica Sneed, says quarantine, job loss, and depression were among the factors that made 2020 a tough year for many of the families that they serve. But the community's generosity during the holiday season through the city's Adopt an Angel program made a big difference in their lives. Last month, the nonprofit shared how many resources went out to those who really needed them, from diapers to hot meals to groceries. They also mentioned that 126 children were able to get a toy for Christmas. What a wonderful follow-up from the holidays, and giving doesn't have to end now. Organizations like the Salvation Army can always use your help. Now, if you have a great story to share, photo or video that you'd like to share, email us at covid19today@torranceca.gov. We'd love to hear from you. Well, that's our update for COVID-19 today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow as Christine Lee brings you the latest. Be safe, stay healthy, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.